So is it impossible to become a millionaire by starting your business? What a whole load of crap. In this video, we are going to take a look at Want to be Rich, Don't Start a Business by Mark Tilbury. So if you want to be rich, should you not start a business? How could it be such a bad idea? And if you can't start a business, then what are you supposed to do instead? You know what? Let's find out.
As soon as I left school, I started my first business, which made me a multimillionaire and gave me the life I'd always dreamed of. This statement isn't just false, it's pretty much impossible.
Impossible? That's not true. Likely? Not necessarily. It's true that the average millionaire is 57 years old, and a lot of them have made their wealth through real estate. But if you read books like The Millionaire Next Door, you'll understand that having $1 million or being worth $1 million, it's not what you necessarily think. Like, you might think that if you have $1 million or you have a net worth of $1 million, you fly business class, you travel whenever you want, you've got this sort of dreamy Instagram life that you see influencers showing you every day on social media. However, it's a very different thing to have an online business that makes you $1 million a year and being worth $1 million. But you see, there is this very interesting phenomenon. Now, I'm sure that you agree that if somebody is a millionaire at 57 years old, everybody is impressed. I mean, it's the achievement of a lifetime, is it not? Most people, they will never even get to 6 figures a year. So if you are a millionaire even at 57 years old or even at 80 years old, you're still ahead of 99% of people. So naturally, most people will think that you are a massive success. However, what if you're a millionaire at 20 years old or at 30 years old? It's 20 times more impressive than if you are a millionaire at 60, for obvious reasons. But most people, if you are a millionaire in your 20s and let's say you get out of a nice supercar or you post pictures of fancy stuff on Instagram, most of the time people will simply assume that you're just a lucky rich kid anyway and that you didn't have to work to earn your money, your wealth and your success. And for plenty of people all over the world, it might be the case because it's not like somebody's going to one day give you $1 million just like that. You're going to have to earn your freedom, your success, your wealth. Growing up low income, I saw every adult around me just being miserable. They were depressed, anxious, they hated their jobs and they hated their lives. I saw how most people would just work slave-like hours and then they would come back home and have to deal with groceries, responsibilities, chores, and they would have what? A couple hours of free time a day, and because they would be so exhausted, drained out of life, they would just watch TV. And they do that all week and then they desperately wait for the weekend to finally have some free time to do what they want. But because they've been exhausted all week, guess what they do? They just watch TV all day. And the worst part is they do this for 50 to 60 years straight. They're desperately waiting to retire, and that's understandable when you hate your job. But what they will have done is that all of their lives they will have worked slave-like hours for decades on end just to have 2 weeks of vacations per year, to not even really enjoy their vacations because they can't really spend money, because they don't have much of it. And then year after year, it's not like they get substantial raises in income. They might have a little increase in income over the years, but it's not going to be like a 10x increase. So essentially they just work to pay taxes to sustain the government, which doesn't care about them, and then one day they retire so that finally they can enjoy life. But in reality, how can they enjoy life? Because they barely have any money. And even if they receive money from the governments directly, it's not that much. It's a lot less than what they made when they were actively working anyway. And so I saw people around me living this kind of life, and I thought, surely there must be more to life. I don't want this. I want more. And when you say that you want more, like if you're an ambitious person, lots of people are trying to make you feel shameful for wanting to experience more out of life. If you say that you want to go on vacation whenever you want, that you don't want to have a boss, that you want to pick your own schedule, make $10,000 a month, $20,000 a month, $100,000 a month, so many people are going to look at you and be like, are you insane? Just stop dreaming. They will try to crush all of your dreams, all of your ambitions. Why? Because honestly, deep down, they don't want to see you do well. They don't want you to succeed, because if you do and you both start low income or middle class and then you become a massive success, you make $1 million or more than that, you join the top 1% and they stay in the bottom 99%. Just imagine how much of a blow to their ego it's going to be, because you will have been putting in the work, making the necessary sacrifices day after day to get what you want, while they just complain about their life and they do nothing to change it. And they might even make fun of you while you are actively working to change your life. When I started to first exercise, lots of people made fun of me, and now guess what? They're all asking me for my fitness advice. That's the funny thing. When I started my own online business, lots of people didn't understand, told me I was crazy, told me I should just get a job. And now guess what? Those same people, they look up to me, they're even envious of me, some of them are jealous, and they also ask me for advice sometimes. That's the irony of life. If you want to obtain a different outcome than most people, you'll have to do different things. You'll have to do the things that they're not willing to do. So is it impossible to become a millionaire by starting your business, what a whole load of crap. If you want to become a millionaire young, if you want to be rich young, you want to make 6, 7, or even 8 figures a year, starting a business is your best bet. Because if you just work all of your life in a career, you might at some point make $1 million or $2 million a year. And even then, most people, they won't even be granted that opportunity in the first place. Like, fair enough, if you're a lawyer in New York or in London, you might be able to, after decades of slave-like hours, make $1 million or $2 million per year. And even then, it's not like you're just going to make that money just with your salary or commissions. Usually, lawyers who make $1 million or more per year, they buy into the firm. They have ownership into it. So they're essentially, in a way, investors in business people. So as you can see, if you cannot go for a traditional career to make 6 or even 7 figures a year, then what's your other option? Investing in the stock market? Investing in real estate? Sure, you might be able to make $1 million by doing this. However, let's be honest, how many years of hard work and of perseverance is it going to take you to get to that level? Decades of work, just like with a traditional job. And honestly, most rich people, what they do is that they become rich thanks to a business, and then to become even richer, to secure their assets and their net worth, what they do is that they buy many assets like real estate properties or stock market investments, collector items, things that will gain value over time. Because with inflation, if you have $1 million in your bank account, let's say that the inflation rate is 10% per year after year, you would lose $100,000. So after 10 years, your $1 million would turn into zero. However, if you invested it instead and you got a 10% increase on your investment every year, you would make an extra $100K per year. So as you can see, there is a big difference. And it's how rich people are able to keep making so much more money. And the reason why it's much easier to keep making more money once you have a lot of money already is because you have access to a lot of leverage, and most people don't. Typically, leverage can come in 3 different ways. You can either leverage somebody's time or skills, or you can leverage capital, like for instance, you take out a loan, technically speaking, you leverage the money from the bank. When startup founders get money from investors, they leverage that capital from the investors. Or when you have a business, it is generating money, you then have capital to invest in other things like real estate, crypto, the stock market, and other kind of investments. And then the third form of leverage is artificial intelligence, machines, systems, processes. So most people, when they work a regular job, they have literally no leverage because they're being paid per hour. Like, people are paid per hourly rate. They're not even paid on the results that they get. They're paid for the amount of time that they work. And ever since you're a child, you go to school, you are literally conditioned to spend your time to get money in exchange. So from a very young age, they teach you that if you want to make money, you need to always trade your time for it. However, if you make $12 an hour, let's say you manage to get a 10x increase in how much you make in your hourly wage. You now make $120 per hour. So now if you want to make more money, what should you do? Work more hours? Try to increase that hourly rate again? But obviously, you're not going to get that hourly rate to $10,000 per hour for most people. It's very unrealistic. Come on. So at some point, if you want to make more money, you want to get to the next level, what do? You're stuck. That's the truth. And that's exactly why most people, they never get to 6 or 7 figures a year, because they work in opportunities that simply do not allow them to make that kind of money. However, with an online business, there are no limits to how much money you can make. And from what I've found, for most people, they want to be making anywhere from $10,000 a month all the way up to $100,000 a month. That's what I've found is the sweet spot for most people. And with an online business, that is definitely possible. However, tell me, with what job are you going to make $100K a month? And like I said, some jobs, they might allow you to make that kind of money, but most people will not get those jobs to begin with. So I completely disagree with this kind of advice. If anything, starting your own online business, it's really the only realistic way to make $1 million for most people. And truthfully, if you are watching this video right now, you are very lucky, because a couple decades ago, so not too long ago really, if you wanted to become rich and you were from a low-income family, you were screwed. If you wanted to open up a business, you would have needed the right network, to know the right people, and probably to start your business, you would have needed to open up some factories, to buy some land, to hire some workers, and guess what? To do all of that, you needed a lot of startup capital. So really, the only realistic way that most people back then would go about trying to become a millionaire or becoming richer is that they would work slave-like hours for decades on end in a company, and then maybe at some point be able to start another company with all the knowledge, all the experience they have gathered, and do things better for the customers. And that's how they would beat the competition. But as you can see, it's no easy or quick path. But with an online business, I'm not saying that it's easy, because it's not. Let me tell you, you could technically speaking become a millionaire in less than 5 years. Honestly, do not believe all this crap on social media about becoming a millionaire in 6 months or in 90 days, because for 99.999% of people, it's never going to happen. However, can you become a millionaire in 5 years if you start your own online business? Absolutely. And it can even take less than 5 years. But to be able to do that, you need to know the right things, because you don't know what you don't know. It's kind of like if you were going to have a car accident today, if you didn't know that you were, you'd take the car, you'd go on that road, and you would die. But if you could know in advance that you were going to have that accident, you simply wouldn't go today, and you wouldn't die. The same logic is true in business. If you start your business all on your own, chances are you're going to make so many mistakes that you could have just avoided if you had followed somebody's advice. I'll be honest with you, if I hadn't read so many books on money, on personal finances, watched countless YouTube videos on how to start a business, on how to make money, and if I hadn't bought courses from many successful people, I would not be making this video right now. I would not have managed to build this kind of life for myself. The only reason that's ever been possible is because I had the right knowledge, but also I implemented on it massively, ruthlessly, until I got what I wanted. And that's what I still do to this day. A lot of people say that knowledge is power, and that might be true, but whenever they say this, it always makes me kind of laugh internally, because they always forget one crucial element of the equation, which is the execution part. You could have all the knowledge in the world on how to build a successful company or on how to build a great muscular physique, but if you never go in the gym and actually work out, or if you never actually go and start your business, reach out to potential customers, face some rejection, guess what? You'll never get jacked or rich. So that's the thing that you really need to understand. You need to take action, even if you think that you don't know enough, because honestly, you learn along the way, and even if you think that you don't have enough money or enough time, like at the end of the day, we're all in the same boat. When I got started, I didn't even have $300 in my bank account, yet I found a way to make it work. So if I did it, then so can you. Now, how should you go about starting your own business? You know, a lot of people, they're going to start a business based on what they love, based on their passion, based on what they want essentially. So to give you an example, they might be passionate about yoga and they think, I'm going to open up a yoga studio. They might be passionate about cooking, so they think, I'm going to start my own YouTube channel and make some videos about cooking recipes and sell my own ebooks for $15. And those businesses, they can work amazing, for sure. However, in my opinion, the best way to start a business is to have a market, and the more painful the problem, the more money you will be able to charge for this kind of service.
Many people that want to get rich are buying into this narrative as it's so widespread on the internet. Why? Because it sounds so much easier than the reality. If you want to get rich but don't want to put in the hard work, then I'd recommend buying a lottery ticket and crossing your fingers, as it'll probably be more effective.
Honestly, I've always hated it when I would see people around me who grew up low income, like middle class people, and they just bought a lottery tickets. And I always looked at them and I said, why are you even doing this? What's the point? You know you're not going to win. You've got 1 in 1,000 billion chances of winning. And then those same people, they're going to say, oh, it's too risky, don't start a business, instead get a job. Because 9 out of 10 businesses fail. Yet they're hoping that by some magical event, they'll get rich. It doesn't happen like this. People who become millionaires, they don't just wake up one day and boom, they've got $1 million on their doorsteps. Human beings are lazy by definition. It makes sense from an evolutionary perspective because we are not programmed to waste our energy on meaningless things because we only have so little of it. But honestly, if you think that you'll become rich by winning the lottery or by getting lucky, please get this idea out of your head. In business, there might be such a thing as having the right circumstances, but oftentimes among successful people, what you'll see is that at some point they got quote-unquote lucky, but it's only because they put in so much work for such a long time that finally things started to click in their favor. And then most people, they look at that and they say they got lucky, but they weren't there when that person was putting in the work day after day, even when they didn't feel like it. And I would dare say, especially when they didn't feel like it. To be honest with you, I don't feel like recording videos every day. I don't feel like working every day. I don't feel like going to the gym every day. Yet I force myself to do it because I know later down the line, I will only reap many benefits from doing so. And at the end of the day, if you want to reach this outcome, you'll need to do all of the work. You'll need to make all of the sacrifices necessary to reach your goal. Like I said, it's not going to fall on your lap. No one is coming to save you.
I didn't just jump straight into a business idea after watching a top 10 side hustle video. So when I say you have little to no chance of starting a successful business straight out of school, I'm not trying to crush your dreams. Quite the opposite.
That kind of goes back to the 9 out of 10 businesses fail. In reality, when you push the analysis further, you realize it's not 9 out of 10 businesses fail. It's 9 out of 10 people. And honestly, when you say to people that you're going to start your own business, they will throw that statistic in your face to try to discourage you from chasing after your dreams, from launching your own business, as if that would be enough to crush the ambition of motivated individuals. But more than that, if you start a business thinking you've got zero to little chance of succeeding, obviously you're not going to succeed. I can tell you that for a fact. Because to make something work, you not only need the belief that it's possible, but that you can do it, because if you don't have that belief, then you're not going to put in the work day after day. You'll think it's pointless to do it anyway, or you will do the work halfway. So guess what? You won't get what you want in the end. At the end of the day, you need to realize that business is not about you. It's about giving people what they want. And if you do that, you'll have so much money, you won't even know what to do with it. Believe me. Zig Ziglar said, if you give others what they want, you'll be able to have anything you've ever wanted. And I agree completely with that advice. So when you start a business, don't look at the success rate. Don't look at how many people are succeeding with this, because it doesn't matter. All that matters is that you succeed, that you put in the work. And even if, let's say, 90% of businesses fail within 3 years, why could you not be that top 10% of businesses that succeed? What stops you? Nothing, literally. A lot of people, they see statistics the wrong way. They think that it's like the dice are loaded against them, and there is nothing that you can do to influence the outcome. But that is not true. You get to influence the outcome. Let me give you 2 examples. One, business owners, they don't track their finances, they're sloppy, they're undisciplined in their personal lives, they spend money on stupid stuff that doesn't matter. And let's take another business owner. They they budget carefully, they make sure that they cut down expenses as much as possible, that they don't spend money on stuff that is unnecessary. For instance, the first business owner, he would have an office and a fancy car because he would think it would impress clients when he would go out to meet them. And then the other one, he knows that it's all about solving people's problems, so he doesn't need the office or the fancy car to impress his clients. He knows that if he does great work, people will simply buy his service and then recommend him to other people, and that is how he's going to grow his practice. Also, he's very disciplined. Maybe he goes to the gym every day, he takes care of himself, he has a plan and he follows it day after day. While business owner number 1 is undisciplined, like we said, so he's got no consistency. Some days he's going to show up to sales meetings and some days he won't because he's scared of rejection. The other business owner is just as scared of rejection because, let's face it hurts to get rejected. However, he's going to show up every day and take those sales calls anyway and do the work anyway, even if it doesn't necessarily feel like it. So tell me, in which scenario the person is going to be successful with their business? Obviously, you can see that what you do, your actions, and even your beliefs, they clearly influence the outcome that you experience. So don't let anybody tell you you're going to fail, because honestly, why? They have no idea. Now, if you want to discover how you can start your own online business, but you don't know exactly what to do, I have recorded a free video in which I'm going to analyze every popular online business model. Together, we take a look at the pros, at the cons, and I'm also going to share with you the 3-step process that you can start implementing today in your business to get your first customers. The link is in the description below if you are interested. And with that said, as always, I am waiting for you on the other side.